From the White House to the picket line, President Biden is traveling to Detroit tomorrow. He is set to join striking auto workers as they fight for a contract from the big three automakers. This comes after he received backlash from the union for not taking a more active role in their strike. Former President Trump is also expected to head to Detroit this week, where he is set to deliver a speech to auto workers on Wednesday. For more on this, we're joined by Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett. Major, good to see you.
Good morning.
So Biden has been he's called himself the most pro-union president. How is his response to the UAW strike being interpreted?
So by the union and some Democratic strategists I've been in touch with, a little slow off the mark in this sense that when the president said when this strike first began that union workers should get a good contract because there have been record profits. Record profits, the president said, should create a record contract. President Biden thought that would land really well and favorably with union members and UAW leadership. But then he also said he was sending 2 senior administration officials out there to assist with the process. The union interpreted that as the administration trying to get in the way and maybe resolve this more quickly than the union wanted to through aggressive collective bargaining with the 3 automakers. And then former President Trump made a splash by saying he wouldn't attend the second Republican presidential debate and get to Detroit to show his support, rhetorically, for the union striking workers. Then President Biden said, wait a minute, we've got to get more aggressive about this. I've got to show my demonstrative support and go on a picket line. A very, very unusual thing for the American presidency to do. Get so involved symbolically on the picket line. And it's worth remembering that the Biden administration has seen its way through several near strikes that could have been very damaging for the U.S. economy. A port strike was averted because the administration was deeply involved. A rail strike was averted. The administration was involved. There's dispute among whether or not that involvement was crucial or not, but it was deeply involved. It was also involved rhetorically on the sidelines, avoiding a UPS strike. All of those things could have been really, really damaging. The UAW strike is different because of concessions made after the Great Recession and the UAW's strong desire to get some of those concessions back to the workers because they believe they sacrificed a great deal during the Great Recession to keep the automakers afloat. And now that they're making profits, the workers want some of that. And the president is going to side with them.
Right. Every issue is a campaign issue right about now. I want to ask about polling, Major. An ABC Washington Post poll from the weekend, it showed former President Donald Trump far ahead of President Biden. But most recent polling, including some of the polling that CBS News has done, shows the two are actually kind of neck and neck in the national race. So I wonder, when you look at this, obviously these are very early polling numbers, but what does this say about where we are right now in the race and how this might play into strategy?
So 3 things about that poll. 1, it shows a near 10-point lead for former President Trump. The last time a presidential election in this country was decided by more than 10 points was 1984. When incumbent Ronald Reagan won 49 states and beat Walter Mondale by 18 points. There's been no race in America for the presidency outside of 8 points. So a poll showing a near 10-point lead doesn't matter. It doesn't equate to reality, and it certainly doesn't fit with our experienced reality of the most recent presidential elections, which have been down to the wire. That's point 1. Point 2, national polls right now are only indicative of mood, have nothing to do with outcome, nothing to do whatsoever. Republicans and Democrats agree on that. But bad news is bad news. And I've been texting and calling Democratic strategists all morning, and they're like, look, it adds to the narrative, even if it's a bad poll, and you can make that argument, that Biden is weaker than he should be against former President Trump. And that narrative frustrates Democrats in the White House and the Democratic National Committee because they know it's beginning to get baked into the cake of expectations. What's interesting about all of this is that it doesn't fit with actual election behavior demonstrated by voters. What happened last week? Democrats won 2 state special elections, one in New Hampshire, one in Pennsylvania. They've been outperforming in special elections for the last year and a half by about 6 points. So the Democrats' experienced reality in small elections doesn't fit with this polling narrative at all. But that's a small bore story. It's important, but it doesn't get the national attention a poll like this does. And Democrats are nervous because of that truth.
So, Major, you've got these polls, and then you have the hand-wringing that you I guess, read about in Washington, which I know you're familiar with. I want to quote from Max Boot writing in the Washington Post this weekend about President Biden and the perceptions, right? He often stumbles, I'm quoting here, he often stumbles rhetorically, sometimes physically, but his successful performance in office belies his doddering image. And I guess those polls. Quoting again, he has managed to pass big bipartisan bills, including infrastructure legislation that Trump only talked about. He's even been more impressive internationally, assembling a large coalition to oppose Russia's war of aggression. The economy, the ultimate barometer of a president's performance, is doing much better than expected, with low unemployment, declining inflation, and no recession in sight. So these are some of the things that the president can point to, and yet you have polls like this outlier poll and others that suggest that he is running neck and neck with the former president. And so, Major, you now have this, what people are calling like fan fiction, right? The president passes off, like I saw Peter Hamby writing in Puck saying, like, there's this fan fiction out there of the president saying, you know, I'm going to step aside. And if that would be the case, either the vice president would step up to the plate or even somebody completely different. How realistic is it fan fiction? And ultimately, what Max Boot and Peter Hamby and others are saying is, look, this, if the president is running for re-election, he is the best chance Democrats have to retain the White House.
Well, certainly that's the White House perspective, and they believe that once a conversation in this country gets down to Biden and Trump, if Trump is the Republican nominee, that clarifies things and clarifies things to the Biden-Harris re-election campaign's net benefit, probably 3 or 4 points. They understand the narrative, and they understand Democrats are hand-wringing, and no president wants to be written about as a doddering figure in a major publication like the Washington Post. But President Biden, if he were sitting right here, would say, I have been underestimated so many times. I was underestimated in the 2020 campaign, and for good reason. He lost Iowa badly. He lost New Hampshire badly. Then he wins South Carolina. The next thing you know, a week later, he is the presumptive Democratic nominee. He'd say, I have patience, I have persistence, I have a sense of my own strength and a sense of my own mission. That's why these legislative accomplishments were achieved by me, not by former President Trump. So that is the persistent and permanent White House approach on this question. It looks bad, it will look better, I'm more resilient, and I will get this job done. That is something that the president says all the time, both publicly and privately.
Okay,
what he's
Major.
having a hard time doing is persuading the country that they feel the same way, and persuading Democrats who, ever since 2016, are perpetually nervous about the electorate throwing them a curveball they didn't expect.
Major, thanks so much.
Thanks, Major.